Hello everyone, and welcome to another Monster Hunter World video. This is Thegameconomist, and today I'm fighting Arch-Tempered Xenojiiva using a Gunlance. The video has been sped up to 1.5 so that we don't have to watch the entire thing in 16 minutes. Instead, we're going to get it done in about 10 minutes, right? That's kind of my goal here. Basically, what I've done is I've put together a very tanky build that I think most players could take and defeat him. Even if you needed a little bit of practice, you would eventually defeat him. It's pretty hard to lose with this. Anyways, I think it is, right? You'll notice for the mantles, I have a temporal mantle, and the other one is the rock steady mantle. But honestly, I didn't even feel like they were that important. They just make it a little bit easier. For my Palico Gear, I've gone with the Vigor Wasp spray so that I get a little bit of health throughout the fight. And one of the things I want to point out, first of all, is that I have not eaten at the canteen. So I haven't eaten a meal, and there's a good reason for that. That's because on the build, I have Fortitude. Fortitude is your cheesy, easy strategy for defeating all of the Arch-Tempered monsters. Basically, every time you die, you get a large boost to damage and defense. In this case, since we're using a Gunlance, we're mostly just interested in that big boost to defense. So the reason you don't eat your meal is because you're intentionally going to die. Since you're going to die, you don't want to lose those meal effects. And what we'll do is we'll eat the meal after dying twice. So notice Xenojiiva just stood on his hind legs to do a sweeping beam attack. You know, he goes from left to right. I like to run right up to his crotch where he has no balls for some reason. He has nothing there. And so I run right up to the crotch and I just start shooting into it. He's knocked down in this case, and I can just keep shooting him. Pretty decent damage. Again, I haven't eaten a meal, so I'm not getting the Bombardier, the extra damage from Bombardier. I'm just dealing about 100 damage per shot. I don't think Xenojiiva like that. What do you guys think? Is Xenojiiva a girl or a boy? He has the color blue, but I don't want to assume his gender. Or should I say her gender? I don't know. So when Xenojiiva's in the air, there's not a lot you can do. I would argue even bows and bowguns aren't going to get a lot done when he's in the air. So I just kind of chill around and, real close to dying right here. And what am I going to do? Okay, so I could have died right there and just let Fortitude proc once, but it looks like I decided, nah, I'm going to go ahead and eat a max potion. And really, if you're struggling with them, you shouldn't even be casual about dying. You really should try to stay alive the entire time. In this case, I was pretty casual. I'm not too worried about dying. You'll notice my sharpness bar, it just became brown, so I went ahead and resharpened. Once the sharpness bar on a Gunlance reaches the brown color, it means that you're not going to be dealing the same damage with your shelling anymore, right? And since we're using the long shelling Gunlance, we're mostly only going to be shelling. We're going to be using shelling and the Wyvern Fire occasionally. With the long shelling Gunlance, you're using the charged shells, which means our build has focus as one of the skills. In fact, there are 3 skills that are making this Gunlance do optimized damage. That would be 1, focus. Focus is, again, what allows you to charge the shells faster. Artillery. Artillery gets you Wyvern Fire back faster. It's also directly related to boosting the damage of your explosive shells. So when we're talking about explosive damage types, artillery is one of the key skills for boosting damage, and then other skills like attack boost don't really affect it. And then, what is it? The last one would be magazine or the capacity boost skill. I believe magazine is the name of the decoration. The capacity boost skill is what allows you to hold an extra shot. So instead of holding 3 shells, I hold 4 shells. So those 3 skills together, the capacity boost skill, oh there we go, my first at death. Give me a second here. Fortitude is going to proc any moment now. And there it is. And that's the idea here. Notice I'll go ahead and resharpen my weapon. I ate a max potion to bring my health bar back up. Now I'm on my 2nd life, and my goal here is to just get some more damage done and let him kill me again. And then when Fortitude procs the 2nd time, I'm going to eat a meal. I'm going to eat, like a iron skin or whatever it's called, armor skin, and he's just going to have a lot of trouble killing me at that point. So that's kind of the strategy here. It's the same strategy you've seen me employ on monsters like Lunastra, who are really tough. Yeah, I'm doing exactly the same thing for Arch-Tempered Xenojiiva, and of course is very successful because of how easy it is. Look at him using all his... You'll notice a few things. You'll notice I'm not being affected by tremors, and I'm not being affected by his roars. That's not an accident. Since you only have to build 3 skills, what were they again? Capacity boost, focus, and artillery. Since you only have to build 3 skills, I should say. It's so late at night. I'm doing terrible here with the commentary. You're left with the rest of your build being able to focus on defensive skills. That's why we're able to bring vitality. We're able to bring, I believe, protection is on the build. Yeah, you can see protection proccing on the right side of the screen. And you're also able to bring maxed earplugs and maxed tremor resist. There he is doing that wide sweeping beam again, and I just run right up to his crotch and start shooting him there. Real easy. You can usually get a whole clip going into him, maybe even more if you were close to him. You'll notice Xenojiiva seems to have phases. He goes into a phase where his chest turns red, and if you're damaging him with regular damage types, you get bonus damage at that point. When you're using explosive damage like me, it doesn't really matter. Explosive damage always does the same damage. So he's mad at me. Look at him, he's going to use a jump attack there. Well, I did get him on the legs once. One of the nice things about long shelling, one of the things, I've really been dwelling about this a lot when it comes to the Gunlances, especially the long shelling Gunlances. I'm really impressed by their range. I mean, it is kind of like an absolute advantage compared to the other weapons. I feel like Gunlances really have that going for them, that incredible range on the long shelling. It's not obviously it's not as good as a bow or a bow gun, but bows and bow guns, they don't come with the default heavy shield, right? You could make an argument for the heavy bow guns, but even the heavy bow guns, if you're taking the shield, it means you're not taking your other mods, so you're giving up forms of damage probably, and the shelling is so consistent in its damage output. It's always dealing about 100 damage, and the Wyvern Fire will give you, maybe like 350 damage. So the Gunlance, the long shelling Gunlance has really left a nice impression on me when it comes to actually having a fair damage, decent utility, defensive build, and that's one of the reasons why I brought it to you tonight. And once again, you can see the whole build at the end of the video. I'll be showing that in a minute, but how much time we got left? 7 more minutes to this. See, could you imagine talking about this for 16 minutes? That's why the video had to be spread up. Not spread up, sped up. See, again, it's way too late at night for me to be doing this. I should be asleep. There we are, knocking Xenojiiva over once again. He does not like that. He loves to slam his arm down like that, and gosh, I don't even know what I'm going to be doing with other builds when I have to deal with that, but it's easy when you have a shield. You just guard the whole thing. You'll also notice that the augmentations on my King Gold Exploder include 2 health regen augmentations. This helps me get all of my life back just by dealing damage. So you can guard. Yes, some moves are going to chip through your guard, but when you go ahead and get into shelling your opponent, you basically just earn all of that health back. And there's another knockdown. It's really not that difficult. And I've only died once, so I know that I do try to get myself killed a second time, like I don't try my best. And the reason for that is because I really want to be able to show you guys how to treat, basically how to buff yourself appropriately after you've died a second time. So I'm really intending to die a second time in this fight. And you'll notice a great spot to shoot Xenojiiva safely if you're trying not to die. I would focus, when you're talking about shelling, long shelling in this case, I would focus on his back legs and make sure that you tilt your, however you do it. There's 2 ways that I'm doing it. Is the lunging approach. That's one way to get the nozzle of your gun pointed upward. The other way is to guard and then poke, with the melee attack. I think it's called like a lateral thrust. And that'll tilt the nozzle of your gun upward as well, at which point when you go into shelling, your shells are going to be aimed upward. That's really important. You can also manually aim them, but I don't know, I find these other 2 methods much easier, maybe a little more natural. There we go. There's the second time I've died. Fortitude is going to proc again, and I'm going to get a lot of buffs going before I go back out. So the first thing you'll notice, I'm going to go ahead and get Bombardier. In this case, I'm using a voucher because I didn't want to mess around with it for the video. See, I'm setting up 4 pieces of those ingredients on the bottom line to get Bombardier active. I also got the Polisher. I like Polisher. I think that's decent. I think it's one of the more useful feline skills. We're heading back out. Actually, it's funny, I actually forgot to sharpen my weapon, so I'm doing it right now. And that was kind of silly of me, because I ended up taking damage from him. There's max. Well, I'm trying to eat a max potion. There we go. He's trying to stop me. So, there we are now. We've got the Feline Bombardier. We've got maxed health once again. And this time, 2 procs of Fortitude. That makes me really tanky. And you'll notice when he damages me, it really doesn't do that much to me. Like, I have plenty of health left when he damages me. And that's like the 600 plus defense I have on my build at this point because of Fortitude. Defense is not that important in this game, but I tell you what, after 2 procs of Fortitude, you'll notice it. And that's why I recommend it to players, right? So here we are. I just continue doing what I was already doing. You'll notice this time I'm not catching on fire. That has to do with the fact that when and the match is over. It's because when I ate at the canteen, I went for elemental resistance, basically. And check it out. I was lucky, and I got a gem. So now we'll just go ahead and take a look at the build. Oh, also I forgot to look at my map. You'll notice it was 16 minutes and 48 seconds. I think I could do a better time than that, but you know, he seems to have a lot of health. That's just how it played out, I suppose. Here is the full build that I was using in the video. I'll let you guys take a look at that. Other than that, I mean, I don't really have anything else to say, so I just want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.